All right, we're live. We're live. No intro today. We switched up our show just a little bit. But good morning to everybody. It is 10 a.m. Sunday the 27th, and today is the first live show from what we hope to be our weekly Spurs recap. So, welcome everybody. It's a good day. It's a good morning. Sun's already out. Plus, we woke up 2-0, right? Just like we were kind of hoping. So, I got Jake with me. Joshua will be joining us a little bit later, but until then, we'll start off with just the two of us. But Jake, before we jump all the way into it, how does it feel waking up after another good win last night?
It feels pretty good, honestly. They're surpassing my expectations because as I've said multiple times, I just didn't think that we were going to be winning games. But we're winning games. Our players are playing great, and they just for the most part a lot of ups to be had rather than seeing a lot of downs like we usually would.
Yeah, that's a good summary. All right, so for the way that we're going to be kind of structuring our stream for today, and hopefully moving forward, we'll kind of get more of a rhythm and kind of really start to iron out the process. But for our first show, we are going to start by kind of lumping our first two wins together, and we'll highlight certain things that maybe each as individuals we kind of saw between both the Memphis and the Toronto wins. And then we'll switch on over to kind of start to preview and look ahead and think about the games for this week. Okay, so we'll start looking at New Orleans tonight, and then our two games versus the Lakers. But if I'm going to throw this up for you real quick, so let's just jump right into it. Spurs are 2-0. So far, it could be a player, it could be certain plays you've seen, philosophies, whatever you want to, whatever kind of piqued your interest, whatever caught your eye, Jake. What has kind of stood out to you over these first two games?
For sure, it's DeJounte's play. He's been playing pretty efficiently. Like I haven't seen many turnovers to what he usually did last year and stuff like that. And he's just been playing great. Like last night was a triple double for him. Like
First every career, correct?
First career triple double, and it's great to see that kind of stuff come from DeJounte because like I've said before, we hadn't really seen a lot from him, and of course that's due to circumstance, but this is the first year that we can finally say, all right, DJ, go out there and prove why why everybody's wanted you to be our point guard for the future, so it was really good to see DJ's play the last couple games.
Yeah, I would agree. And then especially combine that with like his comments after the first win, he kind of talked a little bit about wanting to be that true point guard. I find it funny how that's a great comment to make, right? And
Exactly.
he kind of even said, he mentioned a little bit about people like to score 30 and 40 or whatever, and coming off of the night that Jakob goes off for 44 or whatever. But
Right.
I did kind of find it funny that if you imagine if like DeJounte Murray says that 2 years ago, that's like in the middle of when ESPN and on the national media finally was giving the Spurs some attention, but really it was just to like try to stir up our pot anytime they could, right? So imagine them being like, "Oh, DeJounte says that other people aren't true point guards or whatever." So I find that interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Before we get into our next any other points, I'm gonna throw this dude up here joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Josh is here, so I'll jump in, Josh, and kind of let you get settled in. But just the first topic of the day, between the first two wins, what are some things that kind of stuck out? Jake kind of mentioned DJ's overall play and kind of bringing in that point guard mentality, which has been a good thing for us, especially with White being out. But for me, something that real just like I'm glad to see, and I'm hoping that we can continue because I do remember seeing it at times last year. It's just like our ability to kind of get ourselves out of bad starts. Like I think both games we kind of started not on the right foot. the first game it was
Like,
not turnovers, like not, I don't know, we're stepping our feet out of bounds a lot, and we were like just like getting those little things
in
out
the
of the
corner,
way.
in the corners. I think Lonnie did it a
Yeah.
couple times last night.
Yeah. Even like DJ on that pass out to the corner. They show the replay right on the baseline, and as he's throwing the ball, his foot steps out of bounds. I was like, "Whoops,
Yeah.
not gonna look at that."
Yeah.
But just our ability to kind of stick with it over the course. I feel like as after watching us for the past couple of years, I bet a lot of Spurs fans, when they see us go down early, they're like, oh, they get a little anxious and kind of feel
Yeah,
like,
that's
really.
it. Because we would
It's
usually get blown
scary.
out. Yeah, we would get blown out
It's
in
so
those
scary
games.
seeing that, man.
Yeah.
But
So
like you said,
been
the
super
first two
glad.
games, we started off real slow. And I texted y'all last night. I was like, man, this game's super reminiscent of that Memphis game because they started off bad. I think they gave up like 40 or close to 40 in the first. And I can't remember what the halftime score was, but I know we did a way better job on the defensive end in the second quarter to hold them. I think it was to under 60 for the half. So after giving up 40 in the first, and to give up under 60 and a half was pretty good. So I'm glad in the fight that our guys have, instead of laying down after those bad starts. They came with it in the second, and they picked it up for the next three quarters. And yeah, it was a good old game last night.
Yeah,
For sure.
Definitely. All right. Well, Josh, let me pass it on over to you. What else? What else has kind of stuck out to you?
Yeah. Well, DJ, he's making great decisions with that ball. Like I got to listen to y'all guys talking about how he wanted to be a true point guard, and it's shown his. I know it's 2 games in, but that assist to turnover ratio is like great right now. He had his first triple dub. Congrats DeJounte for that first triple double of his career for the season, man. Hopefully we got more to come later on this year. But and he played great. Lonnie's playing great. Keldon, man, I love Keldon, man. He's attacking those bigs. He threw his body at old Aaron Baines. He's throwing his body everywhere at everyone. I love to see it.
He had a similar play against Valanciunas in the Memphis game where he
Yeah,
kind of just took it right
into his
to
body.
him. Yeah, heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Good
he bowled
stuff.
over Baines, man, and even DJ attacked Baines. He had that one. I think it was the N1. He finished like right through Baines' arms. He clotheslined him, man. But our young guys, man, they're stepping it up big. And DeMar is DeMar. He's not no 82. Let me tell you that. He's closing them games out, and he's hooping right now, and I love to see it.
Especially with that 3-pointer. That's another thing that stood out. The fact that DeMar's already getting adjusted to just shooting the 3-pointer more. He doesn't even have to shoot it a lot, but like just to show the league that he can be that much more dangerous with the 3-point shot. I love to see that. So
what was he last night? 3 for 4, something like that, or
I think it was 3 for 4. And to be honest, it should have been 4 for 5, right? Didn't he have one? He had one that was on the line.
Oh,
well, yeah. he had the one at the end of the quarter too. Remember the heave?
Right.
Oh,
he had the half court heave. He had the half court heave, and that one long two that he shot on the line.
But for sure the one with his foot on the line. I mean, to be honest, I didn't feel, to me, just watching him, it didn't feel to me like he was really aiming for the 3. Kind of looked like he was just catching it and letting it go. So I don't
exactly.
So I saw who was it that reminded me a lot of that. I can't remember. It was from the Memphis game though, where they were just really actively taking that shot like 1 or 2 steps right in front of the 3-point line. But anyways, I did like his I had mentioned it on Twitter yesterday about like when he shoots those 3s and he just got a lot of good spring in his legs. There's certain times where he just does not, right? But last night, every time he shot the ball, he had good, like his body was moving. Getting those shots. So it looked pretty healthy. I did like LA. Like LA, you can tell like when he's getting the ball and he's drifting out, like as he's catching the ball, his eyes are staring at that floor. Like, where's my feet? So I'm hoping we can get him to kind of turn around a little bit. But I'll throw something else out there that kind of stuck out to me, kind of on the lines of all that is when it comes to like LA taking those 3s and DeMar taking 3s and all that kind of stuff. Well, what I liked about the first game is that, throughout the course of the year, we're gonna have to go through, or the early part of the year, we're gonna have to go through moments of like letting LA kind of get his touches and trying to find his rhythm. And I know that it can feel frustrating on our point because everybody else is kind of moving real quick, and then when it comes to him, we kind of have to like give him a little bit of time. So I like the fact that like we were able to withstand a bad start, come back from that start, share the ball in good ways, and allow LA time to kind of figure the game, out over the course of 48 minutes. At least in that Memphis game, and it did well because he found his rhythm, and he even I think he made like the last 3-pointer that he took right at the end of the game. And probably the best thing about that thing for me, and I even wrote it down too when I saw it, is that he made that 3, and it's great. We finally got him to make one over the course of the night. But the fact that like the Spurs didn't need him to make that 3 in order to secure that win, you know what I mean? It was okay, good. We were doing enough good things in other parts of the game to where we did not need to like already to one game in. Okay, LA, we need you to hit this 3 to win the game. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to see that. That's undue pressure that we don't really need right now. So that's something that kind of I'm glad to see early on. Anyone else? Anyone else have anything that kind of is like a real? I have a whole bunch, to be honest. That I wrote down.
This is a little bit on the negative side, but it's kind of gotten a little under the radar. But Rudy's been struggling a little bit in the last 2 games. Like
you want to throw up the box score for like the Memphis game?
Let me go ahead and get that up real quick so that. All right, I'm good. Let's go ahead and get that up there. So right here, in this one wasn't too bad, right? 10 points on 4 for 9 shooting, but you can see that like he's missing 3-pointers that like I feel like throughout last year at least I'd see Rudy knock down like a ton of threes during the season, like wide open threes, just ready for it. And obviously this was the first game, so maybe he is just getting back into the groove of things.
Yeah, it's the first 2 games, so I feel like you got to give him a little time, because not everybody comes out and busts, and it's gonna take them for sure. Time. Let them get their groove back, and hopefully stop knocking them down.
Yeah, for sure. And I was just it was just the one little thing that I had to point out of just like he has been a little bit on the slower side of getting right into our offense and getting into that flow of things. Whereas like a player like Patty has just been killing it already, Patty has been very helpful these last 2 games.
Patty was red hot last night.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. Last night was fun. I enjoyed seeing him in the post game interview. He was pretty bummed about missing that one shot that he did.
Right. He was perfect that entire game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think like we had mentioned in our first show together how it's like we just want to be in the fight, man. We want to be able to be competing for these wins and doing that. And so it was fun to have our first moment of the year of like, I definitely was sitting down watching the game and then had to get up for that last couple minutes when it was pretty tight. So it's good to be back in. Even for anybody as an NBA fan, it's good to be back in those like situational basketball moments. You know what I mean, and kind of seeing where your team. How does your team execute during those moments? So it was a lot of fun. Last night was a lot of fun. The Memphis game was a lot of fun, but I'm glad. Really, it's more of like, all right, we need this division win. So I'm glad that we turned in and stepped up for that. Rudy, like even like last night, like there was a couple times at the beginning of the game, I felt like everybody just looked a little bit slow. Like there was a couple times where like Yak had the ball in the middle and his hands up and he's kind of looking around and like there is something there, but you can see that it's like that lane is not open. Like don't attempt that. And then like 5 seconds after that, he'll throw the ball into the congestion. I was like, oh my God, like what are we doing? Like I don't know, I just felt like we were like really struggling to get our decisions up. And Rudy was kind of in that, but there was a few moments in the second half where like he's kind of moving off ball and then like he like sprinted up to like the free throw line and kind of just caught a little down the open space and hit a open mid range. And so it's like those are kind of the kind of things I think like this year, if we can just get maybe 2 to 3 plays like that per game of just like get to an open spot, hit a good open shot, like even just like those little things are going to start to add up,
All right.
For sure.
Hey, Jake, throw that box score up for last night.
Okay.
Nice.
Trey got
And
in
It was,
there a
it was
little
good to
bit.
see Trey. Yeah, Trey to get in
yeah,
there.
and
Even
and
though it was
and
4 minutes,
he,
but
he didn't do bad for his 4 minutes that they gave him. So I was happy to see that. But so just the same thing, like, Rudy, and he had 5 boards, he had 2 assists, so obviously he was working in the flow of our team. But
mhm.
2 for 6 and 1 for 4 from three is it's just a little bit of a slouch that, like, I'm ready to see Rudy, like, kind of get back into the flow of things. It'll
Yeah.
be nice to see that happen again.
Yeah, it'll be a
I
big
mean,
help
and
because it looks like everybody else is feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
LaMarcus, 1 for 5, but I just want him taking those, spacing that floor.
Hmm.
As
And
far as three
and I
pointers
guess
go.
for me, the only thing would just be like and this is, I guess, very situational, because obviously in the flow of an offense, LaMarcus probably is getting, he is getting those five 3-pointers, right? But I feel like I question, like, whether or not he is comfortable, like, shooting the 3-pointer right now, and, like, if maybe he should be starting in the mid range to open up his 3-point game. You know what I
who
mean?
is that, Jake?
LaMarcus.
Oh, okay.
And not even, like, because I don't want to see a ton of post LaMarcus like that. That didn't work last year. We
Yeah.
didn't get a lot of points coming from LaMarcus playing in the post. But if it is a lot of pick and pop situations, I wonder if maybe letting LaMarcus shoot in the mid range for, like, that first quarter, first 2 quarters, just to see if he can catch his rhythm to shoot those 5 3-pointers, and instead of being 1 for 5, he ends up being 3 or maybe even 4 for 5.
Yeah, I think I remember after the first game. I can't remember if it was LA who made the comment or a reporter, but they kind of said the same thing. Or I don't think it was him, like, post game, saying, like, yeah, I started off a little slow, so I kind of went down low and started to get my rhythm there. So I think they're probably on the same page as you, Jake. It's like if we can find LA. If we can find LA in his spot, then that'll just bode well for putting him in those other spots. I mean, again, like I was saying before, like, I don't think we need to have all that extra pressure. I mean, if anything, I'm looking at the box score, and it's like, all right, give the pressure to Lonnie, give the pressure to Keldon, to all of our young guys. Like, hey, go out there and make these threes. You know what I mean? Like, if we
For
if
sure.
if we if we put that pressure on them to do it, then it just gives LA gets less of that pressure. You know what I mean? And we all know he's like a rhythm guy. So if you get him in a good position, now all of a sudden we can start to rely on him to start making these threes late in games or whatever. But yeah, I would say for now, again, like I said before, we're gonna have to be a little patient with him, and probably Rudy, and I guess Trey's another guy who he didn't play in the bubble, right?
Nah,
So
he didn't play in the bubble.
yeah, so I mean, we're just gonna have to give them time. But let's see. Let me see. Is there anything that kind of like jumped out to me in these first couple games? I did like, we had mentioned before. Josh had mentioned about, like, Ja Morant trying to get other people involved. I did think that we did a pretty good job of not allowing other people to go off, in that regard.
Yeah,
Um,
he got his 44, but it seemed like everybody else was not that they were not in it, but it's like we were only worried about Ja, at least.
yeah,
So
yeah, and then
it
I'm
was
not
good
gonna
to
lie. I
let him
felt
get his. Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, no, no. I was gonna say it felt a little awkward. Some of the form of some of their shooters that Memphis had was a little weird,
Oh
man.
my
Watching some
God,
of those
Clark,
dudes
right?
shoot.
It was Brandon Clark, right? That form was horrendous.
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty funny.
I haven't got a chance to. I haven't really been able to look at everybody's rosters, like, top to bottom and everything like that. So some of these games that I'm watching, this is like some of my first time seeing some of these guys. So yeah,
Yeah.
seeing him when he did have those opportunities to kind of kick out to shooters, I was like, after the first couple quarters, I was like, all right, I think we should be okay. I mean, some of these guys are a little bit young and they need to kind of figure their stuff out, and that's all
Yeah,
right.
and you're talking about just kicking out your shooters. That was one thing I was kind of bummed out about last night. Our guys were closing so hard on Pascal whenever he was on the outside, and to me, I'm like, Joe, just let him take that shot. Like LaMarcus just step up slowly and don't let him blow by you, because he takes 2 steps and he's at the rim. He's so long and lengthy, and we kept closing out like way too hard on him. Like, in my opinion, I would just let him take those shots, those 3-point shots, rather than him getting those layups at the rim. That was something I thought we could have done a better job on him, at least, or anybody like that, because not everybody's Steph Curry. Not everybody's going to be knocking out those threes like that. So I think we need to let those guys shoot those, like the Pascals and stuff like that, because I'd rather him, just like you were saying, Jake, about getting your rhythm. I don't want him to hit a couple layups and then he's hot from everywhere.
Yeah.
Just start letting him take those threes, and if he if he misses a couple, and maybe it's going to affect him later on, like negatively, and I that was one of my observations when I was watching that game last night.
For sure. I want to kind of point this out a little bit because it's not like you're saying that you'd rather Pascal take those threes, and he went 0 for 5 last night.
Right.
But like imagine because he's not a garbage 3-point shooter. Like, he can hit it every now.
He's not, but still.
My thing is, like, this was a semi close game, right? For like it wasn't like. Yeah, I'd say that, like, it was a cool little game, and then right once we got into the fourth quarter, you could tell everybody is kind of like kicking it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Pascal went 0 for 5. I'm just kind of like thinking a little hypothetical of, like, if on any other night, he doesn't go 0 for 5, he does hit like 2 for 5, just like OG right here, right? But at the same time,
killed us, man.
Maybe we don't see Fred VanVleet, score 27 tonight, right? Maybe we don't see their role player Chris Boucher scoring 22 today.
Yeah, that guy was all over the place, man. That guy was crazy.
I was just kind of thinking of like of how much of a saving grace Patty's 21 was today, like.
It matched Boucher.
Yeah, it did match Boucher, and I just kind of like, when are we gonna be able to see like, and this is just kind of like thinking like mid-season, right? But like, when are we gonna start to see Keldon, Lonnie, even DJ, right? Like, and obviously we don't even have Derek yet, but when are we gonna see one of our younger players be able to step up and make those 20-point per game nights? I know Derek's done it a couple times. Lonnie had that one game in Houston, but I kind of want to start seeing that a little bit more consistently with whatever player,
Yeah, and it is good. It is good that we still were able to pull out the win, not having Keldon, neither Keldon or Lonnie or DJ, like neither one of them popped off. You know what I mean? So they had good solid games.
Yeah, look at the field goals. Like, they're all around the same. Nobody took more than 17 shots. DeMar had the most. Like that. Yeah. That's super consistent with everybody, and it's good to know that we don't need some guy going crazy, to put up 120 and get the dub. Everybody fell in line, 12, 11. DeMar was 27 points, but 14, 12, and coming off the bench, Rudy with the 8, Devin with 7. That's great. That's great all around scoring, and I'll take that. If everybody could give us that, that 10 to 14 points, that's fine. We don't need nobody.
Or even imagine if so I'm looking right here, all these guys that win like 5 for 14, 5 for 15, 6. Imagine if they made 2 more buckets and bumped that up to 7 for 14, 7 for 15, 8 for 14. So now all of a sudden, LA ends with 16 points. Murray ends with 15 points, another 18 points, and so like that looks great. You know what I mean? Even if they just made 2 more shots throughout the game.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad that like on some of these days where these shots aren't falling for, really it felt like, I mean, when you're looking at it, it's like nobody really had like that much of a rhythm except for DeRozan and Patty, like throughout the whole night offensively.
Yeah,
for
sure.
So it's good. It's good that we were able to still carry that for the win. Minus Derek White still. Overall, pretty good signs.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I did want to say, like Jakob, man. Jakob, he had that one moment last night where he caught the ball in the middle and found, I think it was like Keldon cutting it across the baseline for a dunk or something. And
Or was it
then like
Devin's backdoor, right? Or Devin went backdoor?
maybe it was Devin. I'm not sure, but anyways, he found one of our guards cutting on the baseline for a good dunk, and then like the next play, or maybe like 2 possessions later, he catches the ball and has like literally that exact same situation. Catches it and immediately kind of turns and he sees baseline over here or whatever. But like as soon as he caught the ball, instead of kind of shooting for that baseline shot, which was, to be honest, was open anyway, he took it real hard to the basket and finished like through traffic. And so like that's the kind of stuff, man. Like I'm glad to see the same situation, but have him be successful in 2 different ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I definitely want to. I want to see him hit those little. He has like he hit like one, or not hit, but he attempted like 1 or 2 of those little like floaters in the middle. There was one floater that he like caught the ball, turned around and kind of threw it up. That felt a little rushed, but if we can just get like a few of those little things from him, per game, chipping about 6 to 8 points that way, I think that's gonna help. Also, like we were just saying, that's gonna offset a night where LaMarcus goes 5 for 14. You know what I mean? Things like that. Let's see. Anybody have anything else that they want to talk about before we can switch over to getting ready for these games that are going to be happening this week? I don't think we were super wrong. I think we all kind of felt good about Memphis. I felt pretty good about this game against Toronto. So it was a good test. Oh, I want to ask something. I don't think it's a big deal because we are without Derek White still.
Mm-hmm.
But in our first game during Memphis against Memphis, at about the 7:30 mark in the fourth quarter, all the way until about the 2-minute mark, we went out there with no point guard on the floor. And I thought I wrote down exactly who we had out there, but I guess I did not, which is a bummer. But we didn't have DJ out there. We didn't have Patty out there. I want to say maybe it was DeMar DeRozan. Possibly.
I was gonna say if it was DeMar or Lonnie.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
Probably,
I'm okay
would
with
have been like Lonnie DeMar.
Yeah, I'm okay with not having a point guard because, like we talked about before, when DeMar has the ball in his hands, he makes like the right plays. He's facilitating. He's driving. He's kicking.
And he's become a way better playmaker.
Yeah, like
on
it's
our
great.
Team the
It's
last
great.
Couple years,
so whenever he has that ball and you're giving him those if you're telling him to make those point guard decisions, he always makes the right decision. So if we're gonna run with no point guard and at least he's on the floor, that's great. I mean, I'm fine with that. There's no drop off. It's not like there's nobody out there that can't make plays for some other people, because he can do that, and he's proven it the last couple of years in San Antonio. So,
but for sure, like we have three point guards, especially with the way Patty's playing right now. We have 3 point guards at around like the same level of play right now. That once Derek comes back, I would be kind of surprised if I did see, maybe if it is a couple minutes, not too bad, right? But if I see like a half a quarter without a point guard on the court, I'd be a little surprised, not having DJ, Derek, or Patty out there just to kind of.
And I think the reason that it just stuck out to me is because it was 5 minutes. It was like about 5 minutes of game time, and it was during the fourth quarter. You know what
exactly.
I mean? And it's first game, and it was first game of the year too. So I was just like I understand, especially since again Derek, it plugged Derek White in there, and the whole problem was gone. So I understand that it's probably just a situational thing, but it stuck out to me. I was like, man, we're really just gonna go out there with no point guard because I just know we've had DeMar for the past couple of years, and there have been times when we just feel like we're lacking that on the court floor general kind of leadership. So it stuck out to me for a second, but we did a good job of kind of managing it, and I think they put DJ in, I think like around the 2-minute mark, and then he finished the game. So it probably is no big deal, but it was just something that when I saw it, I was like, what the heck? So all right, let's switch over now. We've done some good things offensively. We've done some good things defensively. So our first game for for this next week is going to be tonight, I believe at 6, but I'll get the time up here in just a second. So Jake, if you want to switch over to, we could throw some team stats up there for our first opponent. So we have the New Orleans Pelicans coming in. What is their? It doesn't show their overall record. Huh?
Let me see.
I think they're 1-1, right?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they are 1-1.
They beat Toronto, and then they lost to somebody. So all right, well, we got Zion Williams, we got Hart, we got
1-1.
Ingram.
Second in the Southwest Division.
Yeah, 1-1. And already right off the bat, man, we within the first 3 games of the year, we're looking at two division matchups, right away. So another important game. I mean, if we can already be 3-0 is great, but really 2-0 in the division, I think is gonna or the division record is gonna be important moving forward. So, but yeah, I mean, sure. Ingram, Zion, Redick already, Bledsoe, Ball, Hart, Adams. So I mean, they're solid for the first 6 or 7 in their rotation.
And like honestly, like for me, the way that we're gonna beat this team, let Zion do his thing. Like it doesn't matter if Zion scores his 30 tonight, but if we can keep Brandon Ingram from doing his thing, if we can keep JJ Redick from shooting his shot, getting like 3 or 4 threes. And I don't know about Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe can shoot himself out of a game, or he'll be on fire, and we'll have to try and work around that.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Lonzo's like that too. Like I just remember that one Lakers game, back whenever he was with LA, and he killed us from the 3-point line, man. And it was like he would not miss. And then you see him, the next couple games, and he's throwing bricks up. So that's a wild card too in Lonzo, I think.
So I feel like our biggest point is just to kind of like hold down like who we think would be like the biggest perimeter threats, as well as attacking those boards, because we cannot we can't let JJ Redick shoot a 3, like a contested 3, have it not be a good look, and then just let Steven Adams grab an easy offensive rebound.
And they get 2 or 3 attempts in one possession.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that could very easily become a rhythm for a player like JJ Redick, or even like Josh Hart, who can score the 3 ball a little bit, right?
So does Lonzo start for them? I mean, Lonzo starts.
If I'm not mistaken,
yeah. Who's their starting lineup? Because I'm trying to look up at the defensive matchups. Are we going to throw Keldon on Zion?
No, heck no.
Because say LA, let's just say we run with the same starting lineup as last night. So you're going to throw LA on Steven Adams.
I honestly think that if they start Steven Adams and they start Zion, does that mean do we have to go Yak?
But Zion's so quick on the outside, and I think he's going to blow by either one of those guys, either Yak or LA.
So we talked about giving him. We talked about giving Siakam the outside shots. Are we going to start LA and just give Zion the open jump shots and say, okay,
I'll give Zion those jump shots all night rather than him booming on somebody's dome.
This projection that I got says Lonzo, Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Ingram, Zion, and then Steven Adams.
Yeah, because Brandon's long too. So, and if he's running the 3, they're going to throw DeMar on him.
Their lineup is a lot more traditional basketball with Bledsoe. You said Bledsoe at the 2, right? Or like projected he can start. Yeah, so Bledsoe at the 2, Brandon Ingram at the 3, and then Zion as your power forward. Yeah, yep. I think that's pretty solid. Like, not position whatever the. Yeah, but to me that's like classic. That's not positionless basketball. Whatever the opposite of that is, that's very positioned basketball. So that's why I was saying, like, are we gonna have to go? Do we go with Yak at the 5? But I mean, again, I understand what you're saying about LA at the 4. Man, it scares a lot of people.
Yeah, because Zion here he's listed as a small forward, and because he's quick. He has his first step is fast, and if we get if we get LA
That
out there,
matchup would be scary tonight. Like I don't know about all
I
that.
could see Zion having one of those jaw games like 40 plus like on our big guys because we're so slow on the outside with
and that's
Doc
why.
and-
But that's
and
what I'm
LA.
saying. That like let's let Zion do his thing. Who cares? Like
Yeah, see, and you said that earlier, and the only thing like whenever I said that about Memphis, I'm like, yeah, let Ja get his. It's because I don't think there's another guy out there capable of dropping another 30 next to him. Like I don't want
why I'm
I don't
saying that we
want
should
Zion to
build
go
our.
up for 30, and then same thing for Brandon Ingram because that's
But
gonna
and that's why we're
they're gonna
building. We would build our scheme around Brandon Ingram with the Grizzlies. Like, yeah, you're right. At least because Jaren Jackson Jr. was
Jackson.
out.
Mhm.
Like, let's just let Ja do his thing and lock down everybody else, right? Well, I mean, it'll be the same thing, but obviously we'd have more pressure on Brandon Ingram instead of a player like Josh Hart or Nikhil Alexander. Like their starting five is ruthless, right? But their bench can't really make up for it besides JJ Redick. Like JJ Redick can shoot the three ball, but he can't
Hart.
defend. And Hart can defend okay, but he doesn't like I'd say that he's a little more inconsistent than he is consistent right now.
Let's see. So Hart. So far, these are just season stats. So obviously, they're going to be kind of inconclusive. But
it's just the two games that they had.
yeah.
What is Zion outside? Can we see his 3-point percentage for these two games?
All splits.
Yeah, there we go.
He's only attempted half a three, so that means that he's only attempted one three and hasn't made it yet. So
okay, so that's what I would do tonight.
Yeah.
Try to keep him on the outside, and I would not even
agree.
close out on him.
I agree, and I also agree with Jacob about really pushing to stop Ingram. That perimeter stuff. I was talking with Jake yesterday, like watching the couple games that I've seen Kevin Durant and Kawhi, and you know what I mean. Those small forwards, man, they're still like the position in the NBA. You know what I mean? If you don't have one of those threes, man, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
And so that's why, like the way that we beat them is, let Zion do their thing on for our defense. Let Zion do our thing and work our hardest to stop Brandon Ingram, to stop JJ Redick, stop Eric Bledsoe, right? And then on the offensive side, it's our bench play. If our bench can go out there and do whatever they did the last couple games, I don't see the Pelicans bench being able to do that compared to our bench,
Yeah, I think we should be a little deeper than them. So then let me ask the question then. Who do you think is going to be defending Zion then to start the game?
Honestly,
or who would you put? I guess
I would put Keldon.
I guess Keldon's our best option, but it's still
we're gonna go.
Zion is so big.
We're gonna go 3 days. We're gonna go 3 days in a row of giving Keldon just like the test. All right, no practice here. Throw you in starting lineup game 1. All right, good. Game 2, let's put you out there versus who do you primarily guard yesterday? Yes, Siakam yesterday. But then again, I was asking the exact same question before Toronto, which is, man, is Keldon gonna be up for the challenge of guarding Siakam? But then again, would you want KJ to be kind of on Ingram? You know what I mean? He did well against Siakam. I know they play different games slightly, but
I wouldn't mind even throwing DJ and Brandon.
Ingram.
And let Link.
He's got
linked on Link.
He does got that link. He's a little bit shorter, but he does got that link.
Yeah, he got that link. So if we could throw DeMar or Lonnie on Bledsoe, and I guess who else is that? The 1 and 2. Oh, Lonzo, right? Bledsoe.
Yeah, Lonzo, Bledsoe, or Redick.
Yeah. So I would let those guys guard. However Pop decides, and hopefully DJ can just get on skin, with his length and contest his jump shots, and and they're both some skinny dudes. Old DJ and Brandon.
Yeah,
So
that is true. Ingram's not the biggest physical force. So
I don't
then
think
again,
he'll be backing him down at all.
Then again, like defensively, I would want DJ to be out there on. I would want DJ to be out there on Lonzo Ball, to be honest. Because if we can limit Lonzo's one of those point guards who will get people involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
sure.
if we can be out there, if DJ can be out there and stopping that aspect of their offense, I think that's going to help for sure. So I don't know. I honestly I kind of want to say let's let Lonnie take the challenge of having Ingram. Let's have Keldon take the challenge of guarding Zion, and then we'll have LA out there with Steven Adams. Which, to be honest, man, even that could turn into not a mismatch, but he can put us in bad situations too. So
I definitely think that one of our biggest challenges today is going to be the board. Like, see if our guys can actually get up there and beat Zion Williamson and Steven Adams to the board.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be
unless we're gonna go the route of just like give them the board and get the heck back on defense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean like defensive boards. Like how many offensive rebounds is Steven Adams gonna get tonight? How many times are we gonna see JJ Redick, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart shoot a 3-pointer, and then Steven Adams just gets that offensive rebound to give them a second, third chance?
Yeah, I do like the idea of it. Like, so this will be our third game, and this is like a different, again, different than what Memphis is going to bring, and then different from what Toronto is going to bring. It's going to be like a new type of game, a new type of way that we're going to have to try to find a win. So I am excited for that. But I agree with Jake. I think that we are going to have an advantage on the bench, and then I think if we
looking at their lineup,
I think if we can just kind of limit the amount of opportunities that they kind of provide for each other, you know what I mean? And Ingram, Garner gives that little open lane where he takes that one step and now rises up for a dunk or whatever. Like if we can limit those kind of things, I think you're probably going to hear me say this all year long of like, yeah, I think we can win tonight. Yeah, sure. So
I think every single game like that. I guess that's kind of hard, right? Because every time we throw the lineups up or something like that, I'm like, oh yeah, we got an advantage there. We're gonna go 7-2.
And like Jake, when we're doing our season predictions or our season talk at the very beginning, episode 1, I think that's kind of like the point that me and Josh were kind of coming at too, of just like, if you think about it on a game-to-game basis, you can see aspects where you can feel confident saying like, yeah, we can pull this win out, versus like, okay, if we played New Orleans 100 times, we'll probably win that, or if we play them 10 times, we'll probably win 6. Okay, so based off of that percentage, I think we'll probably lose. You know what I mean? Like, instead of thinking about it like in that regard, it's like on any given night, looking at the roster and based off of how we've been playing for the past couple of days, like, can we win? I think, for the most part, you're going to hear me say yes, like all year.
Yeah, I was going off the bubble, like the way we played in the bubble. If we play like that all season, like this season, like, man, I feel like we could beat anybody. If we take that bubble ball, and it's shown a little bit in the last games, like, but I love our young guys, man, and they get no love on ESPN and on nothing, and that's fine with me, man. I would love for everybody that's saying the Spurs are going to be a lottery team again to just eat their words.
Yeah.
I mean, like Jake, it was Jake. That was a shot at Jake.
It was kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy to see, like, well, not crazy, but both games had like highlight worthy moments with KJ and with Lonnie and stuff like that. So when we don't pop up, it's like, all right, well, I guess we're used to that, I guess.
Right.
What did you predict, Jake? How many wins?
I said like right below 500.
And I forget what we said.
It was kind of like I was in the I was in the below 500 range. Chris was in the 500 range, and you were in the above
Yeah,
500
yeah.
range.
Mine was like around like the 34 to 36, 37 wins, or like, and then yours was like 36 to 40, and Jake's was like
38 to go for me.
Yeah, Jake was probably like close to 30 wins or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there are going to be the nights.
There's East. I mean, we could easily speed 3-0 after tonight. You know, like going into this game, I feel great the way they played last night. I think if you could throw the box scores up again, Jake, I think DeMar played the most minutes last night. So our young guys, they're still like 29 minutes. 25 for Lonnie, 28 for Keldon. So they all played under 30 minutes, really, with the exception of DJ right at 30, DeMar at 36, but Patty down there as well. So that youth is gonna show tonight, and I know we're going against New Orleans, and they're young too. So it's gonna be youth on youth, and I'm hoping that we can pull it out. I think we could. Especially if Mark keeps on playing.
We probably are gonna kind of like you said, like 25 minutes is not a whole bunch. 28. No. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of our guys play more tonight. Being in the back-to-back.
The Rook didn't play too much last night, but that could change tonight. He's long. He's a good defender. They might throw him at Brandon as well.
I would not be mad at that.
For DJ to sit, or for somebody long and lengthy to sit, and then just come right back with more length on Brandon, like that'll be great too. That'll be a good test for Devin and
which is definitely a very big bright side, like in terms of the future for me at least, because like Chris was saying,
defenders for Devin at least.
Yeah, like just like Chris was saying that, like, looking at the team at the moment, even though DJ's a star defender, even though I feel like Lonnie and Keldon can go out there with the best of them and still hold their own, like they're all 6'5". They are all 6'5". So it's like, that's just like that height, even DJ's length can't help him get 6'7", So it's like it's just like that little bit of a height advantage that the league has on our defenders that, like, I can't wait to see another, I can't wait to see Devin come in either in a year or two, right, and be our star defender on the wing,
Yeah, how tall is
that, like,
I was
he's 6'7". He's a 6'7", very lengthy wing. Like,
maybe you'll have that Tatum growth spurt and be 7 foot next year.
We're gonna need that. We're definitely gonna need that. Yeah, because I'm excited for all of these tests against like Ingram, against these like star small forwards. But also I'm a little scared, man, because I mean, like me and Jake had kind of talked last night too. You can have all the fight and you can have all the everything, but it means a little less when you see like a guy like Kevin Durant just rise up and shoot over you and drain him.
And that's the thing, like. And I know we're gonna be in those games where they have the height advantage, but like Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. Like there's not many people that are just rising up and shooting. Like, I guess they don't have that in them, in their game, because Pascal did it a couple of times last night, but he could have did it all night if he wanted to. Rose up over our small guys, and they just don't. And Kevin,
and I think that's
Kevin, when he can, he will. Like, and that's just the difference. That's what makes him Kevin Durant. He sees the disadvantage, and that's it. He's shooting over the top of you, and not everybody has it. So,
and my thing is just like, okay, that is true. But if I'm thinking ahead, and I'm the one who's on a day-to-day basis saying like, yeah, Spurs can win this game, Spurs can do this, whatever. I'm thinking ahead, like, okay, at some point we're gonna want to be pushing into the playoffs. It's like, so are we just hard capped at we're never going to have that, you know what I mean? Or we're always going to be lacking that, like, and so that's the kind of stuff that, like, I try not to think about too much, because I'd rather just sit and enjoy the ride that we're on right now and see how our young guys develop and all that kind of stuff.
Well, like Jake said, we got Devin in the
in the wings. So if he can become our primary defender, our star defender, like Jake said, I think that would be good. I love seeing this out there with like with the whole group now, just because you kind of get to see a little bit more of his play style, a little bit more of his demeanor, and
Yeah.
I like it because like DJ is a little bit more in your face, like oh, I love it, like when he got in Harden's face a couple years back.
Yeah, he
Like,
about
oh
to
my
knock Harden
goodness,
out.
dude.
He
That
was
was
about to
like
go hard. And
so DJ kind of has that demeanor. Lonnie kind of gets a little amped too. KJ is a monster.
oh my
And
goodness,
then
dude.
and then
AJ's out there yelling.
White has a little bit of it, right? He's got a little bit of it, but he's a little bit more on the quiet side. But Devin is like real smooth. He's real like, I don't know. I think I think his demeanor is gonna kind of balance well with the
Yeah,
other young guys.
I feel like, the last couple games that I've seen him on the floor, like obviously he has made his rookie mistakes. Like there's nothing to say otherwise, that like, he's a rookie, he's gonna make his mistakes. But man, like there'd be times I see him on the court, and even though like, this little stat line, right? 7 points on 3 for 5 shooting, he made his 1 3 and he got 5 rebounds. I know that this stat doesn't say it, but there was that one steal that he had to clean dunk. Like I feel like
Pascal.
I feel like honestly, like, as much as I really wanted him to be in our starting lineup this year, like no matter where he gets put, and I hope that like, once Derek comes back, that they don't just put Devin aside and let him, let him slowly build up, but not be on the court, right? Like
Yeah.
I think that wherever he gets put, that he can literally like fit, like whatever Pop tells him, hey, I need you to do this. Like he's gonna work and get himself to be in the right position.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I think we're definitely looking forward to seeing what his role is going to be as it gets bigger and bigger. I wonder before we kind of switch over. Well, we can talk about it a little later. I do want to bring up the idea of just like when I'm staring at the minutes per game. Like I wonder
Where Derek's minutes are gonna come from.
yeah, it's like, okay, so is everybody just going to give up about 2 to 3 minutes, and that's going to be that's going to be White's minutes right there. I mean, that's probably what it's going to be, right? Everybody just drops a few, spread it out a little bit.
Depending on how Patty, I don't know, because if Patty keeps playing like he's been playing, like I don't want to take no minutes from that guy, because God,
but I think Patty could easily be out there with Derek White or somebody on the bench as like the 2. You know what I mean? Just catching the open threes.
But as far as what you were saying, like where his minutes going to come from, like Patty played his 30 minutes, but they were like efficient 30 minutes. Like look at that, you know what I mean? So that. Like if you keep playing like that, that's what I'm saying. Like where are we gonna pull those minutes from? I don't know.
Like I said, I don't want it to happen, right? I'd be so sad if I saw Devin just get put to the side. But like it's very easy for me to just say, all right, let's take the 12 from Devin, 4 from Trey, and then like 1 to 2 minutes from everybody else, and bam, now you got
Derek at 20 plus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like it's so easy for me just to say, let's take those 2, let's give those to Derek, and we're good from there.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see Devin lose time. Like I'd be so sad, because I want him to be one of the first players for our team to learn on the court, instead of, especially because I don't know what the situation is with the G League and stuff.
I think they're gonna play. They're
gonna organize a little bubble. I think
a bubble.
I heard. Yeah,
and I guess I won't be too opposed to just letting Devin go to the G League, but at the same time, he's been the most NBA ready out of the gate out of these last couple guards. Like when DJ came out, he was a 30th pick, right? So he needed his time to develop. Same thing with Lonnie. Same thing with Derek. Not as much saying for Keldon, even though Keldon was a 29th pick. Like Keldon was in the G League, and then he came out, and we didn't get to see much during the regular season, but he looked good in the regular season. And then during the bubble, he killed it, right? I just feel like Devin is coming out of the gate, looking at the other rookies or the other young guys when they were rookies, Devin for sure was the one that looks the most NBA ready to me. And I don't want to see him just go to the G League. Like as much fun as it would be just to hear, oh, Devin Vassell put up 40 in the G League last night. Like, like that'd be fun to hear, but I wouldn't want I would want to see Devin score 8 points, 9 points, learning how to get it better on the NBA court rather than seeing him just kill everybody in the G League. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of I have faith. I do think he might see some G League time. I do, but but I also think, well, who knows, because the bubble is just a little different. Spurs have had a good system of having Austin and San Antonio right next to each other, but who knows how that's going to be different, you know?
Yeah, I
I
know.
think Pop will be way less inclined to send his players if it's like, oh, I got to send them to like this state and they have to be there for like a month straight to be in the bubble. That's different. That's different than Eubanks is going to play tonight and then he's going to drive to San Antonio and also play in the Spurs game. You know what I mean? That's just, it's just a different situation. But yeah, I'm kind of the same. I would like to see this still stay out there and kind of make minutes for him somewhere. It is tough though, because I mean, like,
Well, I
we
mean,
talking
the
about
six for
taking
the six for DeMar, like as far as being over 30,
yeah,
like you know,
that's for sure.
Pop keeps them all around that 30 mark. Like it's been that way. So the 36 for DeMar is kind of high. I mean, so that's 6 minutes right there. You know,
Yeah,
that's six
I
right
agree.
there. And if you knock off,
And if you give those 6 to Derek White, those are smart minutes. Like
yeah, those are
DeMar's
meaningful
been giving
minutes.
us DeMar's been giving us good minutes as a decision maker, but Derek White is going to be, you know, just as good, if not better, in terms of
Yeah,
point guard
so you
abilities.
take those 6 and you take 3 from DJ, 3 from Patty. Keep them at 27. That's another 6. That's already 12. That's a quarter right there. You know.
Yeah,
So I think Pop will
and then let
find.
White kind of come back from his injury and kind of see how he's playing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, let's for the last little bit of time, well, let's switch over and start to think about LA. Well, actually, yeah, we'll go LA. So we have 2 games, and Jake, you can. Oh yeah, you already got stats there. So go. Let's see. Let me. Well, I'm gonna pose that same question. What matchups do we need to look out against the Lakers?
Sheesh, Anthony Davis.
Yeah, right.
Anthony Davis.
This one's a little bit. This is our first like star-studded challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've always
AD is
been
gonna kill
on.
us,
I've
and I
always
can't.
been on let LeBron shoot, like always. I've stepped towards that guy in the 3-point line. If he shot 23 pointers wide open, I'll take that all day, all night.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And
And
just because of how good their backup and Harrell has been, like Trez, he did not look good in the bubble. He looked pretty good in the regular season last year, and now he's looking better this year, right? But like for me, I feel like one of the only ways that we're gonna be able to win is if we can have Yak coming off the bench to hold down Trez,
Hold down the paint.
At the same time, like I need Yak out there to try and hold AD and LeBron out of the paint,
So is this a game that you think Yak will start?
I
No,
don't know. I don't know if this is a game that Yak will start.
I think
I just know that Yak's going to be a key player in these next 2 games in these games against the Lakers, because they are a in the paint type of team. Like their 3 leading scorers are people that score in the paint. Schroeder can shoot, and Kuzma is Kuz. Like I don't know how he gets his points, but he does. And then and KCP can shoot, right? Markeef's kind of an inside outside scorer, right? I don't really know much about that Taylor Horton Tucker kid, right? But he's young, he's doing good stuff for them. Caruso's kind of just an attacker, like he just does.
Yeah,
like,
but Caruso's a smart. He's a smart player. He puts himself in positions to get a lot of things from Davis and James. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and probably
huge.
this year, probably Schroeder as well. Yeah, he's way bigger than
big.
Yeah, like and maybe it was just me not watching a lot of Lakers during the regular season last year, but when playoffs came around, like every time he was going up for a dunk or just like any kind of fast break stuff, I was like, that guy's way bigger than I thought he was.
exactly.
So,
and
go ahead.
So yeah, Caruso can. I feel like he is just kind of like a decently well-rounded point guard, right? That I feel like primarily does attack the rim, and then I don't really know. Obviously, it shows that Alfonso McKinney only has gotten like 2 minutes a game, or 2 minutes one game. But Mark, he hasn't been playing good, but he's still a proven vet. Like Marc Gasol, I'm sure one day he's just gonna be able to go from his 1 point a game to being able to put up 15 for this Lakers team. Like,
yeah.
I feel like
especially on a team like San Antonio, who you're talking about having Yak out there for Anthony Davis. Well, who's guarding Gasol off the bench?
Exactly, and that's why their bigs are kind of scaring me for our matchups, because I don't know how well LaMarcus would be able to fare against a guy like Anthony Davis.
Yes, that's the wild card. Anthony Davis. Obviously.
We were already talking about how Zion's gonna be LaMarcus off the dribble, but Zion's an attacker. If LaMarcus has space, give Zion the amount of space and can set himself up in a good position, that's not that bad, because LaMarcus is a big body.
Mm-hmm.
But Anthony Davis can take LaMarcus off the dribble, and LaMarcus. I feel like I would probably see LaMarcus stumble like 3 times in one play against Anthony Davis.
Don't say that.
Just because he can shoot, he can shoot the 3-pointer, he can shoot mid range, and then he can be a beast inside the paint. It's like, I don't know what we're gonna do.
This is definitely one of those matchups, man. Like, I mean, because they will have a matchup. They will have times where they'll have Anthony Davis, LeBron, Harrell, and maybe like Kuzma or Morris, like all at one time on the floor. That's a big lineup right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know, like that's been my biggest reason for not going all the way and not feeling all the way comfortable with small ball in general, is because when I saw the Lakers last year, my whole thing was just like, they're bigger than everybody. And not only are they bigger than everybody, but a lot of the times they use that to their advantage. You know what I mean? And it's just tough to match up over the course of 48 minutes. Even in
but Montrez is undersized.
But I'm talking about
power forward, and they don't have. But
compared to, you say undersized power forward, but compared to today's NBA, Keldon Johnson at the power forward, he's not undersized compared to Keldon Johnson.
They're the same size.
No, Montrezl is so much bigger.
6'9".
He does not play above the rim. He tries to play through you.
But trying to play through you gets easier and easier when your competition is 2 inches smaller and 40 pounds lighter.
Yeah, but Keldon,
and even in this case, it's a 4-inch difference, and we've already seen Trez go against bigger centers. Like, we've already seen him do it and compete at least.
Yeah, he competes as an undersized power forward. So now when you make him
he's the oversized power forward.
I think that when you like, I guess I just take this because I like to play basketball, right? So whenever I have somebody that's bigger than me, like that's attacking me, like whenever you go at them, like Keldon is that type of player. He's not going to back down. And I'm hoping
that he's backing down.
Yeah, but whenever you're playing somebody and you know that you could go through them, it's different than when you know they're going to be physical with you. So if Keldon comes at him, I think that he can frustrate him, Montrez, because like there's not going to be no back down. Like all these guys, like Montrez is just running through them. And I'm not saying that Keldon's going to lock him up to 0 points or nothing. I think Montrez is going to get his points, but if you make it hard on that guy, because he doesn't have, like, that guy cannot shoot. He's just like straight up going through you, like trying to go through you.
But also like Harrell's not going to be the offensive focal point, so it's going to be like Keldon it's going to be like Keldon having to guard him like on rebounds and Kevin like that kind of stuff.
But he's putting up 20. He's their third leading scorer, like at 20 a game. Pretty much right behind LeBron and right behind Anthony. So like, I think that we could limit his 20, like, because I don't think we're going to stop Anthony Davis. So I guess I'm just trying to tell you that if I'm giving you one person we can stop, is Montrez.
Yeah. Okay. And then to be honest, again, like DJ, And our guards, I feel good about being able to kind of stop Schroeder. Not that
Yeah,
he's
like
not that he's
everybody
necessarily
else.
going to be their offensive initiator, but he is. If we can hold his points down a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
I think
And
that'll be good.
that's what I'm saying about Montrez. Like, I don't think he could put up the 20 against
And
our guys. I mean,
don't know.
he might. We never know. Like, but it's just he's like one. I guess I would say one dimensional as far as like he's not shooting. He's not doing no mid range.
Yeah.
He's not like he's just grabbing the boards.
He's a little bit more conventional role player, power forward for them.
Yeah, like eight boards, and I bet you off of those 8.5 boards, how many points does he get off putbacks? Just bam, quick board right up there. Hopefully we can keep him off the glass. Hopefully we can limit his points, and
maybe
Anthony Davis don't go out for 40.
Maybe we do switch it up then, like Chris was saying, like maybe we do start Yak to hold down Anthony Davis and let Keldon off the bench to see if that matchup would work,
Or I mean, Rudy's big too.
I don't see Rudy competing against
Big
a guy
no.
like Chris.
just linked.
Yeah, for sure. They're the same height and everything, but I just don't see Rudy as the paint defender like that.
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna have to. I mean, it don't matter what we see him as. If Pop tells his ass to get out there and guard that, that's what he's gonna have to do.
Right.
Yep. It looks like our theme so far of the year is like let the stars pop off and try to stop everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's always just been the Spurs style of play, right? It's always just kind of been like.
I guess did the Lakers? Who did they play? They played the Clippers, man. Because look at their minutes. They're 30 a game.
They're heavy on the top or what?
Yeah. For 30,
Well,
30 for
LeBron. Heavy, but at the same time, like Wes Matthews, Marc Gasol,
they have 10. They have like a 10 man. So I mean, so then we can kind of, I mean, if you're basing it off of this, then you can probably gather what their lineups are going to look like.
Because they have their 5 starters and their 6 man out there.
Who starts along with Schroeder, LeBron, and Anthony?
It's probably it's Kuz. It's probably
he's the starter.
Starts Schroeder, KCP, Kuz, LeBron, Davis.
Yeah,
LeBron's their power forward.
Then I guess so. I mean, obviously, I guess LeBron's the 3 and
Kuzma, I think they run Kuzma at the power forward, right?
That's what that's what I'm saying. Like either way, like LeBron or Kuz at the 3 or 4. And then Trez comes off the bench, right?
Right.
to
take up, that's why Kuzma's only playing 24 minutes and Trez is playing 30 because Kuz gets right out of the game.
But even imagine like a second unit that has Marc Gasol and Harrell in the 4 and 5.
Exactly.
Like
and then they also have that.
On the Lakers game that I
have
watched, Marc Gasol looks so heavy, like so slow, and I'm hoping that we could attack that. Like he's gonna hold the paint down. He's a rim protector, but if like our guys can shoot off the bench, our bigs, except not Yak, but like if Rudy comes out there and marks on Rudy, or if Keldon's playing the power forward, I'm hoping that we could pull him out and go right by him.
Yeah, but
on the second unit at least.
But I mean, are we gonna trade that for just watching this all do drop steps on us all game against the the bench?
But that's the thing. I think that when you hear Marc Gasol's name, you think of like Memphis Marc Gasol. He's not Memphis Marc Gasol.
No,
he's not doing that.
I'm thinking Raptors Marc Gasol. The Marc Gasol who
just was on the outside
and played his role the best that he could. And it was good enough for Kawhi to get a ring. Like, Kawhi did not have to do anything.
He had a lot of help.
Now he's on Anthony
It's not
Davis.
Josh. It's not uncommon to see the Spurs get waxed by guys like JaVale McGee. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And it's simply because
JaVale McGee is like running and like catching oops and stuff like that.
Okay, but all he's doing is using his skills in the right places, and on top of that, we just didn't have the people to match up with him. And it's kind of the same thing. Like Marc Gasol doesn't have to be Memphis Grizzlies Marc Gasol. All he has to do is be huge. You know what I mean? Exactly. I would trust Marc Gasol to make a drop step layup in his 20th year in the NBA. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah. But I'm saying, he's not gonna be down there posting people up. Like I don't think they're gonna clear out for Marc Gasol, throw him the ball. Like I don't think we'll see that one time.
It's still gonna be
clears out for him.
It's still gonna be an 8
1 point.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be an ISO. Yeah, it doesn't have to be an ISO situation of like, okay, the offense is running through him, but I mean, if we don't have the matchup, then how many times can you see where like coming off of a screen and roll, now all of a sudden there's a small on Marcus Gasol, you know what I mean? And maybe they do give it to him 3 or 4 times, not in a row, but I mean, even if he goes out there and scores 6 points per stint that he's out there, he's dropping 18 on us, you know what I mean? Or something like that. So it's like, what are we going to do if we're talking about trying to shave off points from Harrell and some of these other guys to offset what we're probably going to give up for Davis and James? It's like, okay, I think that Gasol or just the bigs in general on the second unit, I'm a little concerned with like, okay, are we going to be able to handle, and we're still talking Morris, you know what I mean? They could have Gasol and Harrell and Morris out there on the second unit all at
And
once
that's a
if they
three
want
big
it.
lineup. While
You know what I'm
while we
saying? Like,
would have the speed advantage, like if they get in a half court offense, what are we gonna do against that?
Yeah,
exactly.
that's if they play them because they're gonna. I mean, we're talking like they're dictating the whole game. Like our speed might dictate. Like they might just pull Gasol off the floor, like
But
take him out of
I
the
mean,
game.
and that'll be on us to kind of try to dictate that pace. But I mean, it's the same thing with like a boxing match, right? If you got the guy who's throwing the big swings, and then you got the guy who's a little faster. It's like, okay, you have to, your game plan is to dodge as many of those haymakers as you can. But everybody knows it's like, okay, if you get caught with one of those, you can be in trouble. So it's like, at some point you're hoping that they're just not gonna get us back against those ropes, aka like slow the pace down and make us
Yeah.
play that kind of ball. But I
and
mean, they
like
have so many bigs that I feel like they have a lot of
But
opportunities to do that. So
I think if LeBron's not on the floor, like LeBron's like the smartest person, like probably on the whole floor. When every time he's out there. So if he's not out there to do that, because if there's somebody that'll do that to slow the pace down to take advantage of those mismatches, like I think Schroeder's just balls
yeah,
to the wall.
a good old veteran center on the court could easily slow down the pace
yeah.
and
Or even
make
Josh,
them say, "Hey guys."
even if at the bare minimum it's Gasol, really demanding a lot of extra attention and just providing a lot of open looks for his shooters. You know what I mean? Even if it's just his
Mhm.
height giving us that to deal with. Like I just feel like
Exactly.
it's just going to be a lot, man. It's going to be tough. And it will be interesting. So we play them twice. We play them on the 30th. On Wednesday the 30th, and then we have a day off for New Year's Eve, and then we play them New Year's Day the 1st on that Friday. So
Nice.
it'll be interesting to see like what kind of adjustments do we feel like we have to make and all that kind of stuff. This would be our
So
first
so I think like
experience
obviously
seeing
we're
that.
not going to go 72-0. So I
Yeah,
think that
yeah,
if we could, I think we could get a dub tonight. I do think so. And if we could split the Lakers and start the season off, would that be 4-1? That'd be
4-1.
great. That's like ideal for me. Do I think we're going to beat the Lakers back to back? Absolutely not. I mean, we could easily lose both games, but I think that we could split with these guys.
I think the weird thing with this Lakers roster is the fact that like obviously the first two people, Anthony Davis and LeBron are gonna get their due. They're gonna however way they do it, they're gonna find their way to get their points. Dennis Schroeder can do the same every now and then, right? I feel like he was able to do that a lot with OKC. I think he'll be able to do that with the Lakers too. But it's like these last couple guys that last year, the fact that Marc Gasol wasn't on there, the fact that like Danny Green was on there and Wes Matthews wasn't, right? So everybody knew that Danny wasn't shooting good that year, We don't know if Wes Matthews is gonna stay this 1 point per game scorer. Like for all we know, like Wes Matthews and Marc Gasol could start to like get their rhythm going, get their fit in, and eventually, become however many 8 points, 9 points that they need on any given night, right? And I think that's just the thing with this team is that like I feel like there is a couple players that like while you might not be expecting them to score well, they might have that one player that does like just find a way to get a more than what the team's used to give them another big win,
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, like like obviously with us, we know our role players are gonna kind of give us
That's
what they got.
Kuzma, man. Kuzma is like so hit or miss. I don't know what
And
to think about that kid. Like I feel like at any given night he could score 30 and then he could not do a damn thing.
and
It makes me so mad.
that's what I'm trying to say is like, with this Spurs team, like I feel like definitely our guys are more consistent than what this Lakers bench is, right? But I feel like every now and then, or you're gonna see like 9 times out of 10, you're gonna see a Lakers player go off for 25 rather than seeing a Spurs role player go off for 25. And that might just be the style of play. It might just be what like who the actual player is. But I see that coming out more often with the
Or
Lakers
just
than I do with the Spurs.
the attention that a guy like Anthony Davis and LeBron James garners, it gives those role
It gives
players those
other
opportunities.
opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. And that's I think that's one of my biggest concerns coming into these next 2 games is like, yeah, we're gonna see Anthony Davis, LeBron do their thing, but are we also gonna see Marc Gasol go 18 points and 9 rebounds on 4 assists tonight?
I know, that's what I hope. That's what I'm hoping to
No,
not see.
hell no, we're not.
Like, as much
Okay,
as we want to say no, it can happen, and we just like we won't be able to do anything to game plan for it because of how he has been playing recently.
So then, real quick, we are at an hour and 15. Offensively, what do we have to do? What do we have to do to be successful against the Lakers?
Hit our 3-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
We
keep them honest and keep pulling them outside, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then like that kind of gives a little bit more space for like a player like DeMar to attack. Maybe we can try and get Trez into some foul trouble. Even
Yeah,
Gasol.
that's what I was gonna say. Attack. Hopefully, Keldon and like we talked about him attacking the bigs and throwing his body around. And if he could do that 1 or 2 times and get Anthony or even LeBron or anybody in foul trouble,
or Mark,
that would be great.
We're talking about Mark and Harrell and like their other bigs. If we can negate them, foul trouble is a good way to negate them.
For sure. Like
that would
be our biggest.
Because spread them out, try to stop Schroeder from kind of getting any kind of rhythm in terms of trying to find dudes. Because like Kuzma, like you guys are talking about, sometimes he just has a terrible game. So if we can stop Schroeder from even trying to find him, then maybe Kuzma never gets into a rhythm. You know what I mean? Or same thing with like Caldwell Pope. Pope sometimes he can get pretty streaky in terms of like just get on a good shooting streak. So if we can limit the amount of times he catches the ball in good positions, I think that's gonna be good.
For sure.
All right. Well, let's kind of wrap up our talks for the week. There's 3 games on the slate. What is your win-loss prediction for this week? I have a feeling we'll probably all be exactly the same, but let's see. Jake, let's start with you.
Honestly, it could either be 2-1 or it could be 1-2, and I'm leaning towards 1-2 more than I'm leaning towards 2-1, just because of the Lakers. Like if we don't win the first game of the Lakers, I don't see us winning the second game against the Lakers. If we win the first game against the Lakers, I think they'll kind of figure out some way to make us not be able to do what we did to win in that first game.
Okay. So, so you for sure got us beating New Orleans and then either splitting or losing both.
Yes.
All right, we'll give Jake the 1-2. We'll give Jake the 1-2 for the week.
Yep. And I'm opposite. 2-1. I think we could split with the Lakers. I think we could win tonight, and I think we could split with the Lakers. It'll just be an extra Christmas present if we could beat the Lakers twice. So that's what I'm hoping for 3-0. I'm hoping we don't lose a game all year, but let's be realistic now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so like Anthony Davis probably too much for us to handle. Back-to-back games. I'm gonna say we're splitting with the Lakers and we'll go 2-1 for the week.
I'm gonna be optimistic and I'll say the same. I'll go 2-1. I think we get the win tonight. I agree with Jake in the sense of like if we lose that first game, well, I don't know, man. if we lose the first game, we might have to switch something up. You know what I mean? So if we lose the first game and there's an obvious exploit, we've been losing because they're just killing us on this, and maybe we can make that adjustment. And I'm very excited to see. This is our first experience with the playing the same team right next to each other. So I'll be anxious to see.
Those away games?
They're both home games.
The Lakers are home?
They're both away, I think.
Oh, both away?
They're both away?
No. Yeah, I was wrong. Both at home.
Yeah.
Both home games.
Both at home. Yeah, both at home. We actually
So that maybe that's a little factor that'll help us split with those guys. Even though there's no home court, there's no. I'm not gonna say there's no home court. Obviously, we're in San Antonio, but there's no crowd. But maybe they'll be a little bit more comfortable than the Lakers, and they could split one.
Yeah, and I mean, these guys are professionals, so I'm not gonna talk down on their ability to get ready for a game. But it is interesting that right in between is New Year's Eve. So we have they play on the 30th, and then they have the New Year's Eve, and then they'll play again on New Year's Day. So
hopefully Anthony Davis gets fucked up and he doesn't play.
I know, who knows how that's going to be all the Lakers players are going to be on the road for New Year's Eve. Are they going to band together or any of that kind of stuff? Who knows if that's going to play a factor. But I think, I think we're all I think we can realistically aim for beating the Pelicans and having a shot to get one against the Lakers. And I think Jake, you were saying too, I think we could easily be 2-1. We could easily be 1-2. Cool. I don't think any of us think we're going to be 0-3. So if we can finish this week, at a 4-1, I think that would be great. If not, then we would be 3-2. It's not it's not too bad. But again, 3-2 with a 2-0 record in the division, I still think is a pretty good start. I was going to check the. I got it right here. So Pelicans are 1-1, but they lost. So if we can give the Pelicans a division loss, that would be great. Mavericks are 0-2. And Mavericks and Grizzlies both 0-2. So Southwest Division already. If we can be 4-1, in a season that we know is just going to.
Who knows what these Rockets are going to do? Because James Rockets might not be there too much longer. John, I don't even think. Well, they've only played one game, right? You said the Rockets.
Yeah,
the Rockets are 0-1.
John Wall and Boogie hasn't played.
Not to start the season. Yeah.
I didn't see that. Oh man, I don't know if you guys saw, but Christian Wood, man, he did us in the preseason, and he came out and had a really good game yesterday.
Yeah, I got him on my fantasy. I was really happy. But my opponent had freaking CJ McCollum, so my good night from Christian Wood just got outplayed by CJ McCollum. I was so upset. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna lose this week," because CJ killed me, and he has Terry Rozier too. So opening night, Terry Rozier goes off.
He got for 40, right? Or what?
I just could not compete with freaking Terry Rozier and CJ McCollum this week. Jimmy Butler got hurt. My first week of fantasy was not a pretty week. It was not a pretty week at all.
I don't really know how fantasy basketball works, scoring wise and all that kind of stuff.
It's pretty cool. You get your obviously you'll get the points for their actual points. You get another point for field goal made. You lose a point for field goals attempted. And
you
then
lose a point no matter what, or if you miss.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I think it's a little dumb, honestly, but it's kind of like if DeJounte Murray shot a 2-pointer, made that 2-pointer, well, he only gets 2 points because it just negates itself because he attempted a field goal, but he made a field goal, so it's like the +1 -1. And then you get an extra point if it's a 3-pointer. You'll get an extra point because it's a 3-point made. And then what else? You get 2 points for an assist, a point for a rebound, 3 points for steals, for a steal, I think, and then 4 points for a block. So I have Miles Turner. Man, he's been a bit of a saving grace because he had that first night with 8 blocks, and then like this last night had another good little stat sheet.
$8. I've always liked that guy, man. I wanted San Antonio to get that dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I'll have to get into some fantasy or something like that.
I know, man. Fantasy basketball, like I just started this year, but I've been having like a blast, like looking at the league stuff, and I just having so much fun.
It'll be fun. Like when I was your age, Jake, it was a lot easier to just like not I guess easier whatever, but just like watch all the games. You know, I'm gonna pay attention to every roster and everything like that. And now it's I don't have as much time, or like I don't know. I'm like, oh dang, and that doesn't this person still play on that team? It's like, yo, they've been retired for like 2 years. I'm like, dang, we're getting old. So
yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps up our talks for kind of previewing for this next week. So thank you. We do have like 3 people watching now. So thanks to some people who joined us. Just as a reminder, this is going to be our reoccurring time. So we want to be with you guys on Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Central Time, every Sunday for this season to try to get us ready for what's coming next in the week. So I think the format of today was pretty okay. We'll start the show by recapping the games that we had the previous week, and we'll try not to spend as much time because but we do want to be able to hold ourselves accountable and if we got anything way wrong in terms of how we thought it was going to go or whatever, we do want to kind of bring that back up the next week, and then we'll look forward. We'll get you guys ready for what's coming on any given week, and then we'll throw out our projections for the week. So next week we'll be able to see. All right, Jake had us at 1-2. Me and Josh had us at 2-1. How right or wrong were we moving forward? So we'd love for you guys to join in on the discussion. If you do join us live, jump in the comments and we'll have that discussion as we see them. And then if anybody's watching this on a replay on Facebook or on Periscope or on YouTube, then just jump in the comment section and give us your predictions for the week. We have 3 games versus the 2 games versus the Lakers, 1 versus the Pelicans. So how do you feel we're going to be record-wise? Do you agree with some of the things that we think are going to happen, or how we're going to be successful? For this next week. Tell us how wrong or how right we are in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. So all right, I think we are ready to we are just about done for the day. Is there anything else that you guys want to bring up before we sign off?
Nope. Cowboys play at 3:30. Go Cowboys. I'm in my fantasy championship. I need big game from Lamar Jackson. But wish me luck. That's it.
All right. So wish Josh luck on his fantasy football game. Jake, anything?
He was talking about being wrong, so I just want to point out that I was wrong about DeJounte Murray. Just gotta put that out there. I was in the wrong.
Hey, Juan be giving it to him. Juan gives it to Jake.
Yeah, our brother Juan is a big DJ fan, and so we'll be sitting on the couch watching the game and stuff, and he'll be talking so much mess about like, man, I heard this one guy talking so much trash about DeJounte Murray. I was just like, okay, Juan. Okay.
Feeble NBA analyst Jakob Moreno.
Right. I mean, I would still love to see more from I'd love to see more of it.
Yes.
I'd love to see more of DJ doing well on great efficiency and stuff. I have not seen a lot of turnovers from him, so I
think in that first game against Memphis, his first turnover or his first mistake where he's throwing it into traffic didn't happen until the fourth quarter. I was like, oh my God, what's going on here?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
he's growing, man. He's growing. He's going to be off.
If that means that I'm seeing a great 14, 5 and 8 type of game with DJ, or I guess it's 8 and 5, 8 boards, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, something like that, right?
Yeah.
I see that kind of a stat line from DJ, then I'm astounded. Like especially because he is what was he, a 29th pick?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you can ask a 29th pick in the draft to be an all defensive caliber player. So,
alrighty. Well, I think that about does it for us. So, have a good week to everybody in Spurs Nation. Our next scheduled, if you see it scrolling down the bottom, our next scheduled stream will be next Sunday. So we'll be here 1 week from today at 10 a.m. So join us then. I think later on down the road we do have some more ideas for some other videos to be putting out. That won't be like our reoccurring show, but this will be something that we'd like for you guys to plan on catching us, whether it be live at 10 a.m. on Sunday or just at any point throughout the week. That we wanted to kind of set you guys up for the week so that at any point you can kind of check in with us when you have time and get yourself ready for the Spurs game. So. Thanks for joining.
Also, I think Drew was talking about he wanted to get on and talk after the first Lakers game.
Yeah.
From that standpoint,
So thanks for reminding me. So we do have we have some people in our immediate circles that like to talk ball just like us, but not everybody is a Spurs fan. So this is a prime example. We do have one of our family members who is a diehard Lakers fan from California and all that. So I think it would be good to kind of give a little bit of some outside perspective. So be looking out for that. We're gonna work on seeing how the schedules work out for this week. But if we can get him out here with the three of us, kind of talking some ball from a Lakers fan point of view, I think that would be good basketball talk. So we will be here next Sunday, 10 a.m. But just keep an eye out on our YouTube channel for any other extra videos if we do have that. I would say for the best way to kind of get our word out, we've been using Twitter. So definitely give us a follow there at Heroes Half Court. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. So game tonight at 6, 2 games versus Lakers. Let's have a good week.
Cowboys at 3:30.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. We'll see you guys later. So peace out.
Peace, y'all.